Welcome once again to O Reacts. And today we have a video from a channel called Sense Islam. And the title is Andrew Tate Introduces Allah to Candace Owens. This should be very interesting. Everybody pretty much knows who Andrew Tate is. Recent revert to Islam. He was raised Christian. And he's been playing a significant part, although he has a lot to learn about the deen. And a lot of things he still has to work out. Needless to say, he is a believer. And because he has such a big following, he has introduced Islam to a lot of people. There's a lot of people that look up to this guy, to this brother, I should say. And a lot of them don't know anything about Islam. Never knew anything about Islam. So to see someone that they look up to, such as him, it made them actually get exposed to it, where they actually considering looking into it and have looked into it. And it's also resulted, we know that, guidance comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can use anything or anybody to guide people. It clearly looks like he's been using this brother to expose people and consider actually learning about Islam and even becoming Muslim, such as he did. It goes a long way, let me tell you, when you respect somebody, when you look up to somebody, and a lot of his followers do. He has a lot of young people that follow him and even older people. The spectrum is very wide as far as the people that follow this guy. There's a reason why he's the most Googled person, I believe, still, out of everybody. So, that's significant. So as far as Candace Owens, she is usually a political commentator, I guess is the best way to put it. She's pretty well known as well. And she is on the conservative side. She speaks her mind very openly for the conservative view. And I have to say that I agree with a lot of things she says. I obviously don't agree with everything. I don't agree with everything Brother Andrew Tate says. But needless to say, I think this is going to be pretty interesting. By the way, if you like what you see, make sure you like, subscribe, share, all those things. And make sure if you do, and if you haven't yet, make sure you hit the notification bell. It's very important because I would like to at some point get back to doing some lives and inshallah being able to interact with you guys. And because I love that. I really love interacting with brothers and sisters and people that's not Muslim, just anybody. I really enjoy that. I feel like that's one of my strengths is interacting with people. So inshallah, we can grow some more and we could reach a point where we could get some real interaction. But for now, I don't feel there's enough interaction with the lives right now. So I'm going to hold back on that for now, temporarily. And inshallah, we'll grow to a point where we could do that. But I don't want to talk too much. Let's get right to the video, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I hope you're well. For months now, Andrew Tate has been on house arrest in Romania, preventing him from leaving his residence. As a result, he has been conducting interviews from the comfort of his home. Now, recently, Andrew Tate was interviewed by a conservative political commentator, Candace Owens, where they discussed many topics and culture's impact on reducing evils, highlighting the celebration and push for this concept. She believes that abnormality has now become the new normal, with those opposing it being the ones who are abnormal. To this point, Andrew Tate replied that this was the actual reason why he reverted to Islam, as he feels that only Islam has the strongest cultural values, which make a clear demarcation between right and wrong. He said that when he visits Muslim nations like Dubai, he can feel the presence of God, while he doesn't feel the same way when he's in a Christian country?
I will say that I'm sad that you're not a Christian anymore, because I can sense perhaps it's because you felt that Christians weren't doing a good job defending their beliefs.
Yeah, I think that God should be feared. And there's a whole bunch of other things I can say from the Quran and Islamic texts, etc. But to keep it very vague and very broad for people who are not Islamic, I felt God when I was in an Islamic country. If I went to an Islamic country,
That's the problem.
I
The
felt
West-
God.
the West is
You don't
Christian.
feel any God. How is it a Christian country if Satanists are mocking Jesus on the streets?
I understand what you're saying, and I was trying to gather in my head what pulled him away from Christianity, and I said it's probably the example. If you're thinking that America is a Christian country, and you're thinking,
And really quick, I have to say, she is a Christian, obviously, and so she's just speaking her mind. She's just basically being open about, she's sad to see him leave Christianity. And I'm sure there's many others that feel the same way, because when you have the kind of popularity that Brother Andrew Tate has, and to know that at one point he was Christian, it's kind of a blow, to hear that he left and he went on to something else, and that he sees something else for himself as better. And so I could get where she's coming from. It's understandable.
that the United Kingdom is a Christian country,
They're not.
and you're going, Christianity is getting it wrong.
Yeah.
And the truth is that America is no longer a Christian country. We're being run by people that are satanic. Hollywood is satanic, and
Right.
Hollywood is running.
Right.
So you're not wrong. But I think that right now America is facing a spiritual battle. And for the first time in a very long time, Christians are starting to stand up and speak about our principles.
I hope so. And
I could have used you as
I know.
She's like, that's another reason. She's like, hey, we could have used you. And one thing I have to say is that definitely those that are true to Christianity, they are having a spiritual battle. As anybody who believes in God and holds firm to the belief in God, there's a spiritual battle going on right now. And it's not that easy. The influence of Shaitan is very strong amongst the people. And that net, he's cast a net very far and wide. And people are being affected from so many avenues, so many areas. And it's taking its toll. It's really affecting society, and it's affecting laws, and it's just having major effects. I mean, there's certain things you cannot speak about. My last live I did, I reacted to things that randomly, right? So I didn't even know what they were gonna, what I was gonna see or run into. I just went with whatever had the most views. And a topic came up, and I was very honest in it. And I noticed that, number one, it was demonetized. And I saw that it was not getting out to people. It was just dead. The algorithm just deaded it. And so I had to actually delete that video. And this is some of the things you have to see that's happening. So it makes it very difficult for people that want to talk about God and what he says, because you will get canceled, you will get banned. And this is a big problem. So you have to play it careful. Like for me, I'm not trying to get canceled. And I did capitulate. I did delete the video. And it's very unfortunate that I had to do that. But there's things I want to do. I want to grow. I want to be able, when I see brothers like Eddie from the Dean Show and others that have big followings, when I see them building dawah centers and masjids and feeding, going to poor places and giving them running water and stuff like that. When I see that, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. And unfortunately, I'm not in a position to do any of that. And I want to get there. And because I didn't, I come from very, very poor background, very humble beginnings. And so there's no inheritance, there's no nothing. So, I just make ends meet. And so it's very difficult for me to just all of a sudden come up with a bunch of money to be able to make these things happen. So, inshallah, I'm trying to make this platform become something significant and have a significant following so that I can be able to do some of these things. I would love to do that. I dream of being able to do that, give running water to poor people that don't have nothing, to be able to help build dawah centers and masjids. I mean, this is like a huge goal for me. And this is the number one reason. I mean, I could react to any kind of videos, silly videos and everything. And at a time, I tried to go that route. But then I thought about it, and I had bettered myself in the deen, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? Why not? Why not just stick to Islamic stuff? Why not stick to just good things? And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy with me and inshallah make it flourish and make these things possible. So it's a big, big inshallah. And, I love, the few people that do follow me right now, follow this channel and show me love and support and all these things. I love you very much. You have no idea what it means to me. And, I'm just gonna keep fighting and sticking it through. And inshallah, if it's Allah's will, then I'll be able to do this one day. But anyway, back to the video.
It's almost like when I go to an Islamic country, I feel God around. You see it. You see it in the way the people are dressed. You see it in the fact that everyone's in a family. You see it in the fact that there's a mosque on every corner. It's in the air. And it's almost like when I'm in...
That the adhan is very powerful, very beautiful.
Dubai, and I'm talking to my friends, my Islamic friends, and I explain to them the things you have to protect your child from in an American school. They literally think I'm lying. They're like, no, surely. Like, it's mind-bending to them.
What about African countries that are Christian?
Okay, so yeah, this is interesting. So
yeah, they still are mind-blown by the concept of what we're fighting in America. So America is unique. We shouldn't say that this is the
right.
blanket.
And we're in Romania. And Romania is a country which is
Christian.
Very conservative and very Christian.
Very Christian.
And they don't buy into any of this garbage
No,
either.
none of it.
So this is absolutely not true. It's unfair to say all Christian countries are like that.
America is an exception and not in a good way.
Yeah, I think like the whole West is, unfortunately.
He added that in Islam, it is very clear that if something is haram, then it is strictly prohibited, no matter what. Candace, on the other hand, tried to attack the beliefs of Andrew Tate and convince him to return to Christianity. She tried to explain to Tate that he is considering the US and UK as Christian countries, while they're run by Satanists.
Now, I didn't hear an attack. I don't know if I would put it that way, categorize it that way. And maybe in the full video, because this is edited, this is chopped up, so maybe in the full video, that's what went on. I didn't see it, so I don't know. I didn't really take that from what I saw here. I just think she's just trying to make a point, as from her perspective, which is as a Christian. And she's already, you could even see it in her face. Like, she's like, man, if, we really could have used you. She even said those words. So I can understand where she's coming from. I wouldn't consider it an attack, but that's just me. Allahu Akbar.
And the countries that are actually Christian countries do not stoop down to accept such innovations. She also argued by giving the example of Christian African countries, which do not support the idea of accepting sinful ideas. When a person is living in a delusion or even living a life of falsehood, he or she can easily be convinced into truth if he has the ability to accept the truth. But when a person has already accepted the truth after experiencing every other way, he will not be able to get convinced to get back to the false life he was previously living. Islam is the only religion that has set clear boundaries that cannot be crossed, no matter how rich or poor one is, no matter which part of the world one lives in, and no matter what the era is. Our religion was perfected for us 1400 years ago, and the principles and all the rules set down at that time were applicable then, are applicable now, and will be applicable till the very end of time.
اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا.
According to Candace, the US and UK follow other forms of Christianity that are influenced by societal pressures, while countries like Romania follow real Christianity. But our Islam is the same everywhere. What is wrong will remain wrong, even if the whole world admires it. And what is right will always remain right, even if everyone criticizes it. We appreciate the Iman of Brother Andrew, who stood firm and did not give into the reasons given by Candace Owens to return to Christianity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all to the straight path.
Yeah, and that's one thing. I don't see Andrew Tate going back to anything. I see him, if anything, and Allah knows best, I see him bettering himself little by little. You know, he still has work to do, as you can see in some of his videos and some of the things he says in his interviews and some things he posts. But he is a brand new Muslim. Like, he hasn't even been a Muslim a year yet. Like, so, you know, you got to cut him some slack. Let the growth be there. I'm sure he's heard all the criticisms, and I'm sure it's made him think. And ultimately, I think that he's going to think about one of the things that drew him to Islam is the fact that so many Muslims, like, they really adhere to it and just, they won't waver in it as far as the beliefs go. And I think that this will make him ponder, and inshallah, it'll make him want to better himself and be a better example. And like I said, it's still a learning experience for him. And inshallah, it will all turn out great. But let's continue.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us firm in our deen. Ameen.
Ameen.
That's it for today, brothers and sisters. I hope you like the...
All right. And I did like the video. This topic that keeps being brought up is very touchy. It's very dangerous for content creators because you will get demonetized. So, you got to tread carefully. It was very interesting seeing Andrew Tate being interviewed by Candace Owens, and we're going to leave it right there until the next one, inshallah.